My name's Adam Hills. Welcome to the 200th episode of Spicks and Specks, the music quiz show that is hoping for 2 telegrams from the Queen. Our 2 team captains for each and every one of those episodes have been the bicentennial man, Alan Bro, and the hot chili woman, Miff Warhurst. Alan's first guest tonight has been with us from the start, joins us every Christmas and drops in whenever we need cheering up. If we were Family Ties, she'd be Skippy. If we were Hey Dad, she'd be Nudge. And if we were Cheers, she'd be Norm. But since we're Spicks and Specks, she's Ella Hooper. Alan's second team member tonight is a comedian who has appeared on so many episodes of Spicks and Specks, the ABC have given him his own car space. He had to change his name to Visitor in order to get it, though. It's Hamish Blake. Mick's first guest tonight is a composer and jazz musician who appeared on the famed episode of Spicks and Specks that featured the Elvis sandwich.
Oh, yes.
It's 2 years later and he can still taste it every time he burps. Welcome back, Paul Grabowski. Mick's final guest tonight is a comedian who has spent so much time on our show performing dance numbers we could almost compile an episode of just of her moves. We're considering placing a handbag in the middle of the floor just to make her feel more at home. Please welcome back Michelle Laurie. You do love the dance, and can I just say, everyone immaculately turned out. Michelle, fabulous frock.
Thank you.
Paul, amazing look. Miff, looking stunning.
Made an effort.
Al, lovely suit.
Thank you.
Ella, brilliant, as always. Hamish, did you know we were having a special episode tonight?
Yeah, no, Colour's good. Farmer wants to be on a quiz show.
Well, tonight for our 200th show, we're going to try something a little different. We're going to attempt to cover the last 200 years in music in 26.5 minutes. From 1810 to 2009. Now, obviously, this will not be a definitive history of music for 200 years. We have had to leave out some of the greats. Shostakovich won't get a look in.
Son of a bitch. Well, that's it.
Miles Davis won't be appearing in the show.
Oh, son of a bitch.
There will not be one question about Kajagoogoo.
Well, what are we even here for?
Hopefully, though, we'll demonstrate how much music has changed over the last 200 years. And to help us get through the night and add a touch of class, we are joined by an ensemble from the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra conducted by Brett Kelly. There are no topics. We're just going to start at 1810 and see how far we make it. So, everyone on your buzzers, let's play the 200th episode of Spicks and Specks. Your first question. Born in 1810 and dying in 1849, which composer wrote this piece? Yes.
Frédéric Chopin.
Yes.
I think this is where we just shake hands and say we've obviously got it. Have a good night. Thanks for coming. And we can go to some reruns of Birds of a Feather.
And that just covered 39 years right there, from 1810 to 1849. Around 1850, an American songwriter signed with a vocal group and over several years produced such songs as Old Folks at Home, Camptown Races and Jeannie with the Light Brown Hair. I need 2 things. Oh, yes.
Oh, 2 things.
Yes.
His first and second names. It's Stephen Foster.
It is indeed Stephen Foster, correct. What could the second thing have been I was looking for?
His blood group.
I'll pass the rest of the question over here. Produced such songs as Old Folks at Home, Camptown Races and Jeannie with the Light Brown Hair. Name the songwriter, Stephen Foster, and the Minstrel Singers.
Oh, OK, yeah.
The black and white minstrels?
No, I'm going to go back to this side. Anyone?
Harry, Trevor and Brian.
No one's got that. It was the Christie Minstrels.
Oh, tip of the tongue.
As well as Old Folks at Home, Camptown Races and Jeannie with the Light Brown Hair, Stephen Foster famously penned the tune Swanee about the Swanee River, even though he had never been there or knew what the river looked like. In other news, there were no races at Camptown, and it turns out Jeannie was a ginger. One of the most successful operas touring Europe from 1858 to 1860 was Orphée aux Enfers. Yes?
Monteverdi, Orphée...
No.
Sorry, no, that's way too late, sorry.
No.
I'm out.
So I'm going to ask the rest of the question to this side. Translate the title into English.
Sorry, what was it again?
Orphée aux Enfers.
Affairs on the
Spell it.
Okay, wait, just...
Spell it. This is French, right? So we can do it. We can do it.
Enfant, infant, right?
On fur.
On fur. The baby cat, the kitten.
On fur. Le Chat. We know AUX is auxiliary.
In the underworld.
Orpheus in the Underworld was the answer I was looking for.
Yes!
The American Civil War spawned many popular songs. Have a listen to these two. Name them both.
Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
Yes, what were those two?
Glory, 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 hallelujah.
And?
And hurrah! Hurrah!
No, you haven't got either of them this time.
When Johnny Comes Marching Home again.
Johnny Comes Marching Home is the name of what I'm looking for. Thank you, Alan. Did you even give me a name for the first song?
When the Saints Come Marching It.
No.
No.
I'll give it a shot.
Yep.
The Battle Hymn of the Republic.
Thank you, Philip Grabowski. There it is. 1866 saw the birth of modern musical theatre with The Black Crook, which remained popular for 6 years. Was its duration 8 minutes, 45 minutes, or 5.5 hours? Yes.
Oh, look, it's a guess.
Really?
Can I have it then, just because?
Okay, go.
Why don't we just go for...
Could have been pretty boring back then. It could be 5.5 hours.
There's not a lot else on, is
No.
there? I mean, they didn't have TV to
No.
compete with. There was maybe 5.5 hours.
I don't think I've ever said this before. Go with your instinct.
Well, I almost said cheeseburger, but let's go. Why don't we just go 5.5 hours?
Please do.
It's going to be all right. It's going to be okay. Yes, it was a 5.5 hour musical. Cool. What three animals roam and play in 1873's Home on the Range?
Where the
Deer
buffalo
and the
roam and the
antelope
deer and the
play.
antelope play.
3 points.
Play, I like that. Well done.
At the end of 1873, the scores are Alan, Ella, Hamish are on 3 points. Miff, Paul, Michelle are in front, 6 points. Let's kick on. 19th century Paris was vibrant with music and art. Who painted these Dances at Rehearsal 1875 to 1880? Yes.
Degas.
Degas, indeed. If you're in the Bolshoi Theatre in Moscow between 1877 and 1880 and listening to this... How many cygnets would you be seeing? Yes.
Swan Lake
Yep.
is good. Is the ballet.
Yep.
I reckon there's one man swan and the rest of the swans in the lake are in love with him. That makes for a good story. One cygnet.
Cygnet is a baby swan.
I possibly thought a cygnet was a man swan. They can be, but they can also be lady swans. They're just young swans. We've all learnt something, old MacDonald. Not everyone knows everything about animals on the team. All right? One cygnet.
OK, this is going to surprise you to know Hamish is wrong. Oh. So...
I think 7.
The correct answer is
cygnets.
4. Oh. There are 4 cygnets in the Dance of the Cygnets from Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake. In a song published in 1881, who lies over the ocean? Yes.
My Bonnie, isn't it?
Yeah,
my Bonnie, which is a term for a young woman. My Bonnie! My Bonnie!
This game is like watching a little cygnet.
Yes.
A sort of developmentally impaired one, but one that's really
a Gosling.
Or a Gosling. Yeah.
Baby Goose Gosling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm probably just going to be trying to throw in, like, baby animal facts now to
Yeah.
make up for the fact I didn't know the cygnet wasn't a man.
The problem is now I have an image of a man swan
Yes.
just walking onto the stage, scratching himself and opening a can of beer and going, "Where are those bloody cygnets?"
Which famous composer lived his early life in Melbourne from 1882? Yes.
Percy Granger.
Percy Granger, indeed, to 1895.
I believe, and you'll probably be able to confirm this, he collected pubic hair, didn't he? And, well, and
Why should I be looking for
No, because I thought you might. I believe in the Percy Granger Museum at Melbourne University, there are some locks, I believe they're called, of pubic hair, what was sent to him by admirers.
Oh, yeah.
I believe that's the case.
I've been to a little pubic hair museum in the toilets at the Mexican restaurant near my house. It's an amazing few artefacts, a real display of who may have visited the museum before. It's a good spot.
I'm
Free.
never eating tacos again.
Next question. Which musical style am I? I was popular from 1896 until World War I when jazz replaced me. Yes.
Ragtime.
Ragtime is exactly the answer. Listen to these 3 songs from the Great War. Name all 3.
Goodbye, Piccadilly, while your heart are yearning, while your balloons have put the light.
Yes.
It's a long way to Tipperary.
Yes.
And the last one is...
Pack up your troubles in your old kit bag.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Now the one in the middle.
Smile, smile, smile.
That was the last one, love.
No. Anyone?
No.
Middle one was keep the home fires burning.
Right.
At the end of the First World War, Alan, Ella, Hamish are on 5 points. Miff, Paul, Michelle in front, 10 points.
Well done.
Moving on, which American novelist is credited with describing the 20s as the Jazz Age?
Scott Fitzgerald.
F. Scott Fitzgerald, indeed. The Great Depression coincided with the rise of swing. Name this band leader and his crooning brother. Yes.
It's not Damien Presley, is it?
Tommy Dorsey? No.
Tommy Dorsey. No, it's not Giggles Dorsey.
I'm going to throw it over to this side because you've had a couple of goes.
I don't know any band leaders in their crooning
His
bands.
crooning brother.
It's not Bing Crosby's brother, is it?
It is Bing Crosby's brother. Yes.
But what would his name be? Ping Crosby, maybe? Bong Crosby?
It could be Bob Crosby.
It was Bob Crosby. There you go. A point on each side. 1937 to 1941 was a golden age for Disney films. Name the movies that these 3 tunes featured in.
We had Off to Where We Go, I think that was from Snow White. We got that. When You Wish Upon a Star, that was Jiminy Cricket? Hang on. But thank you for yelling out in disgust, no.
Was the third one Fantasia?
The third one was Fantasia.
Makes no difference who you are. That's why I thought maybe Pinocchio?
Pinocchio, yes. Next question. Who was Hollywood's biggest singing cowboy from 1942? Yes?
Roy Rogers.
Roy Rogers to 1954. It was... In 1955, who rocked around the clock? Yes?
Bill Haley in the Comets.
Bill Haley and his Comets. This is a sample from the first entirely electronic score to a movie. Wait for the question. Name the 1956 film.
Dude, where's my cart?
Forbidden Planet.
Thank you, Alan Broyles, Forbidden Planet. That's it. What was Elvis Presley doing from 1957 to 1960?
He's in the army.
Stationed in Germany.
Military service is what I was looking for. In 1960, the Quarrymen became the Beatles. For a total of 6 points, what are the given names of the final lineup of the Fab Four? Yes.
I can say John. I'm pretty confident that's in there.
1 point.
Thank you very much. So far in the lead from the whole team.
George.
OK, there's another point.
Paul.
Oh, no.
All right, I'm going to see if this side want to have a go.
We think Richard Starkey.
Yes, correct.
Nice.
I think John's middle name was Albert.
Incorrect.
No.
But Paul
Said so
McCartney
confidently.
I know.
is Paul, isn't it?
James Paul McCartney was what I was looking for. No points for anyone.
Okay.
It was John Winston Lennon. 1 point to Hamish for getting John. It was
more than
George
more than
and it
happy
was
to do that.
Richard. So there were 2 points to Alan's team and 1 point to Miff's team.
Oh, OK. There's a lot of people who know a lot about the Beatles who have just lost all respect for everyone involved in this, haven't they?
Really? You don't think we lost people's respect at Manswan? At the end of 1960, Alan, Ella, Hamish are on 13 points. Miff, Paul, Michelle just in the lead, 15 points. The next round is called Look What They've Done to My Decade. The Melbourne Symphony Orchestra will play their own arrangement of a song. Teams have to guess the song. Now, to help you, each song has been chosen from our remaining decades. So, first up, it's the 60s. Take it away, Brett.
Me Hanging On.
Keep Me Hanging On by the Supremes. Yes, it is. On to the 70s. Take it away, Brett. Yes.
We are the champions?
It's Queen, We Are the Champions, yes.
Yes, you bet we are.
On to the 80s. Melbourne Symphony Orchestra, take it away. Yes?
Karma, Karma, Karma Chameleon.
It is Karma Chameleon by Culture Club. On to the 90s. Next song, please. Yes.
Come As You Are by Nirvana.
Come As You Are by Nirvana. Well spotted, Ella. Finally, from the current decade, the 2000s, take it away. Yes?
Hey Ya by Outkast.
It's Hey Ya by Outkast, yes it is. Ladies and gentlemen, the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra. So now that we've brought you up to date, the scores are Alan, Ella, Hamish on 16 points. Only one in it though. Miff, Paul, Michelle, 17 points. Each team will be given 10 songs and 10 years. You have to match the song to the year it was first performed. Michelle will be playing first for Miff and Paul. If you'd like to make your way to the board, please. Ladies and gentlemen, Michelle Laurie.
Thank you.
All right, Michelle, these are your years, those are your songs, your teammates can help.
Okay.
Go for it.
I reckon we work from the bottom up.
Oh,
Roll
okay.
Over DJ 2003.
Okay,
Yeah.
Roll Over DJ 2003.
Yep. 1982 Mad World.
She's very good.
I know Rhapsody in Blue is 24.
Okay, cool.
I reckon Rack 3 is 1909.
Really?
I reckon Little Brown Jug is 45.
Great.
I reckon Waltzing Matilda is 1895.
You are
Wow,
killing
you are
it.
amazing.
Yes.
A little less conversation will go 68.
68, Elvis,
Elvis?
returns.
You know, my mother always said to look out for men in trench coats, but you're terrific.
You'll never walk alone.
51.
70. You can leave your hat on 72.
Yeah, 72.
72.
And Cold, Cold Heart, 1869.
We don't know
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
All right. Let's have a look at how you went.
Why are you smiling like that?
Because some of them are way off.
Oh, really?
Cold, Cold Heart, the country song by Hank Williams. Probably not so much with 1869. It was 1951 was what I needed for that. Waltzing Matilda, indeed, 1895, correct. Rack 3, 1909, also correct.
Wow.
Rhapsody in Blue was 1924. Little Brown Jug, 1869 was what I needed for Little Brown Jug. 1951. That was where Cold, Cold Heart should have gone.
Right.
You'll Never Walk Alone should have been 1945. 68, little less conversation. 72, You Can Leave Your Hat On. 82 was Mad World by Tears for Fears. And 2003, Roll Over DJ. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points.
Well done.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michelle Laurie.
They're very good.
Hamish will be playing for Alan and Ella. Ladies and gentlemen, Hamish Blake. Again, your teammates can help you. Hamish.
It's okay. I'll take it from here, Al.
OK,
You seem to be all over this, Hamish.
let's start from the bottom and work up.
And I'm going to give you a hint. Mbube is the original name, the African name of the song The Lion Sleeps Tonight.
Excellent. Great fact. 1 point. Do you think maybe that goes there?
No, see, let's start from the bottom. So, to all the girls I've loved before of 1984. 1984.
I want candy. Was it boiled candy? Or was it commercial
See, I think that's
candy?
1965.
Do you?
I want candy.
Okay.
Mbube, I reckon it's 1957.
Really? Of course.
Do
you don't think so?
I was going to say maybe even earlier.
Lions and Jungles have been around for ages.
And I think The More I See You was 1971.
All right.
Chirpy, chirpy, cheep, cheep sounds like something that could have come.
Chirpy, chirpy, cheep, cheep. Yeah, that sounds silly. I think was that Bach?
Oh, look, I think Beethoven's 8th Symphony is 1812. I think the 1812 was 1878.
Really?
It just seems too obvious, but then
Maybe
again...
39 with the cheap cheap.
Yeah.
39? So when did Henry VIII, when was he around? Did he sing that?
No, I think we can confidently confirm that he didn't sing that.
Are you sure it wasn't his I'm the Real Shady?
I think Henry VIII claim is 1939 and Chirpy Chirpy Cheep Cheep's 1945. 1882 for Advanced Australia Fair and 76 trombones 1911.
1911, 76 trombones, really? Wouldn't they have contributed them? Yeah, but for the war effort, you would have melted it all down and maybe used it for...
The war hadn't started. The war didn't start until 1914.
They were stockpiling trombones as early as 1905. Al, I'm not sure if... Is that treason if you hit the national anthem?
All right, let's see what you got right. Beethoven's 8th Symphony was 1812.
Bang! Well done, Chief.
1878 was Advanced Australia Fair. And 1882 was the 1812 Overture, so those needed to be swapped. 1911 was I'm Henry VIII, I Am. So 76 trombones.
You're out.
Was actually 1957.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
Trombones that late?
Oh, man. This is just going to be a nightmare.
So that's wrong as well. That should have been in 1911.
Tell me we got Chirpy Chirpy Cheep Cheep.
Guess what? We didn't.
Chirpy Chirpy Cheep Cheep was 1971.
You're joking.
Oh, sorry.
Mbube, The Lion Sleeps Tonight, was originally released in 1939.
Thought Lions were a bit older than that.
Yeah. I Want Candy, correct, in 1965. The More I See You from the film Diamond Horseshoe was 1945. And you got To All the Girls I've Loved Before. So,
Ouch.
3 points.
Sorry about that.
Means at the end of that round, the scores are... Oh, Alan, Ella, Hamish falling behind now on 19 points. Miff, Paul, Michelle out in front, 24 points. It's time for the final countdown, where tonight every question is about a musical milestone of the last 200 years. Teams, hands on your buzzers. 1 point for a correct answer, 1 point off for a wrong answer. Your questions start now. What musical tool did Dietrich Winkel develop in 1812 after experimenting, yes?
Metronome.
With pendulums, yes, it was the metronome. Which 1863 invention by Henri Fourneau put many piano players out of work? Yes.
The player piano.
Pianola.
Or
Yes.
boombox.
Got it.
Pianola or player piano?
Yes.
Or does this have to both? Well done. The first phonograph was invented by whom? Yes.
Edison?
Thomas Edison it was. Which 1927 musical was the first full-length feature talkie? Yes.
The jazz singer.
Yes, it was. Who was Australia's first King of Pop in 1967?
Keith.
Naomi Rowe was the answer I was looking for. Which style came first? Death metal, Viking metal, or thrash metal? Yes.
Trick question, because Vikings came first, but they didn't.
Viking metal.
Sorry?
I think death metal.
Thrash metal was the answer I was looking for. Finnish band Lordi were the first to win what for their country? Yes.
Eurovision.
The Eurovision Song Contest. And finally, in 2009, which Australian music trivia show, in order to celebrate a milestone, performed live? Yes?
I'm really hoping it's Spicks and Specks.
I'm going to ask the rest of the question to this team.
I know what it is.
Which Australian music trivia show, in order to celebrate a milestone, performed live at the Sydney Myer Music Bowl? Yes?
Rock Quiz.
Rock Quiz was the answer I was looking for.
Give a shout out.
At the end of the 200th episode of Spicks and Specks, the final scores were Alan, Ella, Hamish ended up with 21 points. Miff, Paul, Michelle won the day, 26 points. Would you please thank all our guests for tonight, Ella Hooper, Hamish Blake, Paul Grabowski and Michelle Laurie. And of course our two team captains, Alan Bro and Miff Warhurst. We leave you tonight with a song that has become very special to us over the last 5 years. It was written by the Bee Gees in 1966 and it became the theme song for a music quiz show in 2005 that has just celebrated its 200th episode. And on behalf of Alan and Miff and everybody that works behind the scenes here at the ABC, I'd like to say thank you very much for letting us make 200 episodes of Spicks and Specks. We absolutely love doing what we get to do and we just feel ridiculously lucky that we've made it to 200 episodes. So thank you so much for watching. Tonight, the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra will take us out by playing Spicks and Specks. My name's Adam Hills. Good night, Australia.
Thank you.